Hi there, Tech here. Listen, you know you need a business plan, right? You know that without a business plan, you're really managing your business blind. Without a business plan that sets a clear direction to your vision of success, that sets priorities and milestones, what are you really working for on a day-to-day basis? So I know you know this, and what's stopping you is lack of time. Well, if that's the only thing stopping you, let's get you going and get you writing your business plan in a day. You can invest a day. Invest a day to clarify your direction, to set actions that will reap long-term benefits to growth. Here's a real-time run-through of what that day will be like. But first, you'll have got ready for the day. Say a week before, take an hour aside and make a few decisions. What is this business plan for? Is it to guide you for the next year, or to give to an external party for, say, getting finance? Who should be part of the discussions in the preparation of the business plan? Where will you hold the discussions? Spoiler alert, best to book somewhere outside work so you don't get distracted. What information can you or should you gather together for the planning process? For example, your financial reports, customer lists, employee lists, what you can think of. Then simply 1, book the venue, 2, invite the participants, and 3, gather the information. And you're ready. On the day, start at about 8 a.m. From 8 to 8:30, describe the vision of your business. What does success actually look like? From this discussion, write a paragraph as your working vision statement that describes your successful business of the future. Now, don't worry about being perfect. The theme of the day is going to be perfection is the enemy of progress. So work to where you are satisfied and you keep going. This means that through the day you'll be writing quick notes, dot points, not whole paragraphs like a book. Later you can then polish your notes and ideas into the written document. Then from 8:30 to 9 a.m, describe your vision statement from 4 different perspectives. First, stand in the shoes of your customer and ask yourself, when I've attained my vision, what will customers say about my business? Second, change perspectives to look at your finances and say, when I'm successful, what's my business finances look like? Third, change perspectives into your future employees and ask, when I've achieved my vision, what are my employees going to say about working here? Finally, change perspectives again and look at your business systems and ask, when I've attained my vision, which are the key business systems that are critical to the success? Doing this is going to provide you with clues about what you have to improve. For example, if one of the things you believe your customers will say about you is responsive service, then if your service is not responsive now, you need to improve on that. Then from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m, set some goals arising from the improvements that you need to make. Review your description of the improvements and pick out 2 or 3 of the most important from each perspective. Those you think that you need to improve on within the next 12 months. This should leave you with 8 to 12 improvements you need to make. Then choose 6 to 8 of the most critical and write them as goals for the next 12 months. Just write them in the format, our goal is to, verb describing what you do, in order to, objective, by time. So for example, the improvement of customer responsiveness might read, our goal is to train our staff in order to answer frequently asked questions from memory by June of next year. Now, if you end up with more than 8 goals for the next 12 months, my practical experience is that you're overreaching. It's far better to aim for something you can realistically achieve. You have the rest of your life to build a successful business. Don't try and do it in a year. So from 10 a.m, take 15 minutes coffee break just to refresh yourself and take a pit stop. Then from 10:15 to 11:45, take the hour and a half or so to look at where your business is right now. For the first half hour, list all your SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Write down all your internal strengths and weaknesses and all the external opportunities and threats that might be affecting your business. Keep your pen moving and go on. In the second half hour, change your focus slightly and look at the SWOT in your customer base, your products, and your marketing. Then in the third half hour, change focus again and work on a list of your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that affect your operations and production subsystems. That's in areas like human resources, physical premises, accounting and records, legal agreements, and so on. By about 11:45 a.m, you should have compiled a list of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats that will either hinder you in making the improvements listed in your goals, or assist you in making those improvements. From 11:45 to about 12:30, we're going to identify some strategies on how we're going to make those improvements by eliminating weaknesses, building on strengths, taking advantage of opportunities that arise, or preparing to deal with threats as they arise. In order to decide on strategies, review the SWOT analysis that you've prepared along with a list of 6 to 8 goals for the year. The exercise here is to look at where you are now and where you want to go and work out what you need to do to get there. Don't overcomplicate it by thinking this is some business school magic. For example, if your strength is loyal employees, but your weakness is not enough trained employees, and your goal is to train staff in order to answer FAQs, then you might simply decide that your strategy is to organize a weekly training session. Simple. Now you may end up with a couple of strategies for one goal from time to time, right? Now this is fine. But if you end up with more than 10 or 12 strategies to implement to complete your maximum of 8 goals, I think you're overreaching. Some of those strategies might actually in fact be the fulfillment of longer term aspects of that goal. In other words, you may only be able to get halfway to some of your goals in this year, and then you complete them next year. Have patience in building your business, and you're going to build it stronger. Okay, 12:30, take a half-hour lunch break. We're pushing all the thinking work while we're still fresh. That's why we're moving on and using the principle that perfection is the enemy of progress. So after lunch from about 1:30 onwards, we're going to spend 2 hours to about 3:30 in the afternoon detailing your strategies. Take each strategy and write down the steps you need to take to implement the strategy. Write down the steps in logical order that the actions need to be taken. List them all down in the order that they need to be completed. Simple enough. To ensure that you focus on the outcome rather than just taking an action, write next to each action what the required result should be. For example, next to the action, ask staff to stay behind every Thursday night for an hour to retrain on the FAQs. Write down, every staff member learns the answers. The activity won't just happen, so write down who's responsible to make it happen. And then most important of all, write down a deadline for when that action should be completed and the outcome achieved. At 3:30, take a good half-hour long coffee break and stretch your legs. You deserve it. You've been writing for almost 8 hours now. Restart at 4 p.m. and start to put it all together. I always believe that you should not leave the site of great work until you've got that piece of work ready to use it. So for the next hour, we're going to organize your notes and thoughts into a logical order, and if you have time today, rewrite some of your quick notes and ideas into whole paragraphs and chapters. At worst, we want you to be in a position where your notes and ideas are in the right order to expand on later and to work on your budget later. Now, a quick word about budgets. Your business plan will need a budget to cost your actions and to forecast any increased income from carrying out your strategies. If you're good with figures, you can do it yourself when you've finished writing up. However, if you're not financially trained, just contact your accountant and set up a time to work with him or her. Now, in order to get your plan together, the process you've undertaken so far has been identify where you want to go, understand where you are now, set some goals, and devise strategies to implement them. That's the logical order of thinking to get there. But that's not the order in which your business plan is going to be read. In order to read and follow a business plan, the reader expects to first understand the vision, 2, know what the goals are, 3, know which strategies they're going to implement, and 4, what are the detailed steps needed to implement those strategies. So we're going to organize your work into the following chapters. 1, the vision. 2, the 4 perspectives of the vision. 3, the goals. 4, the strategies. 5, the action plans. 6, the budget. 7, appendices. That's all the other stuff. If you get to this stage by about 5 p.m., you'll be ready to complete the extended and readable business plan in another session, which shouldn't take you more than another 1 or 2 hours. Before you leave the site of this great work, write down what you have to do to finish this off and schedule 2 hours in the next week to do it. Or I guess if you're so focused and goal-driven and your motivation's up, you could keep on writing until 7 p.m. Just go for it. Well, that's it. For all practical purposes, you've completed your business plan for the next 12 months. It just needs tidying up. Investing a day to prepare your 12-month business plan will provide a great return on investment. You'll have done a great job writing your business plan, but it's not over yet. Now you have to implement it. Now after this, if you think you need to be guided through this process in real time, you should learn more about our one-day business plan online workshop program. The link is down there and in the description. Now, before you go, I'd really appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to this channel, clicking on the little bell icon as well. It really helps the algorithms and it makes sure that more people gets to see this. Thank you for that. And don't forget to visit my blog at techo.com. I'll see you next week.